Hey everyone, welcome to the Explainer. So today we've got a really special edition lined up specifically for our 8th grade scholars. But let's be real, this is basically a masterclass for absolutely anyone who reads. I want you to go ahead and grab your metaphorical magnifying glasses and put on your detective hats. Why? Well, because every single piece of writing you encounter out there has a hidden motive just waiting to be uncovered. Seriously, whether you're diving into a massive novel, just mindlessly scrolling through a post online, or looking up at a billboard on the highway, the author has a very specific reason for putting those exact words right in front of your eyes. So today, we're going to learn exactly how to decipher the author's craft.
Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be totally honest here. Have you ever been tricked by something you read? I mean, maybe you clicked on a social media post that turned out to be completely misleading. Or maybe you read some fake news article that got you all fired up for no reason. Or an ad convinced you that you absolutely, definitely needed to buy something you didn't. Look, we have all been there. But the detective skills we're going to cover today are literally your best defense. They're going to ensure you have the tools to stop that from ever happening again. You're going to learn how to see right through the text to uncover exactly what the author is really up to.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with number 1, why author's purpose matters. Number 2, purpose versus message. 3, the 3 main purposes. 4, finding clues in texts. And finally, number 5, where education meets morality.
All right, moving right along to section 1, why author's purpose matters.
You see, reading isn't just about passively letting words wash over your brain, not at all. It is a highly active investigation into human motives. Just think about your daily life for a second. You are constantly, and I mean constantly, bombarded with information from so many different sources. You've got news sources throwing crazy headlines at you, social media feeds just packed with opinions, books you read for school or just for fun, and of course, advertisements popping up on literally every screen you own. And here's the kicker. Every single one of these has a different motive. Recognizing the author's purpose is essentially your ultimate shield against bias and manipulation. Learning to identify that purpose, that's the real game changer. That's what transforms you from someone who's easily misled into a wise, highly discerning reader. And you know, this isn't just some academic exercise. It's actually deeply connected to how we interact with the real world. Let's look at this scripture from Colossians 4:6. It says, "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone." Now, this verse beautifully frames how we should speak to others, right? With grace and with wisdom. But I want you to think about the flip side of that coin for a minute. It also informs how we must carefully and wisely receive the communication of others. Because to know how to answer everyone, you first have to do the detective work. You have to deeply understand what they are really saying and, more importantly, why they are saying it.
Which brings us to section 2, purpose versus message.
Now, this brilliantly illustrates where our detective work actually begins. When you analyze a text, you aren't just looking for one thing. It's like a giant puzzle. We are hunting for both the what and the why. A lot of readers kind of confuse these two concepts, but separating them is absolutely crucial to cracking the case. Look over on the left side here, purpose. The purpose is simply the literal reason the text exists. Like, why did the author even sit down and write this in the first place? Then, over on the right side, we have the message. The message is the main point, the moral, or that secret lesson the author really wants you to take away. To put that into perspective, say you're reading a novel. It might seem like just a fun, fast-paced adventure. That's its apparent purpose. But its real, hidden message could be this profound lesson about the value of friendship, or even a dire warning about the dangers of greed.
Let's keep moving. Section 3, the 3 main purposes. So, how do we actually categorize why an author writes? Well, whenever an author puts pen to paper or fingers to a keyboard, they are generally driven by one of these big 3 motives. Number 1, to inform. Number 2, to persuade. And number 3, to entertain. These are the primary categories that smart readers use to quickly classify absolutely any piece of media they encounter in their investigation. Like, if it's a textbook, you know it's there to inform. If it's a politician's speech or a commercial, it's definitely there to persuade you. And if it's a comic book or a massive blockbuster movie, it's generally there to entertain. But remember what we just talked about. While the purpose might be to entertain on the surface, the message tucked inside that entertainment might be something much, much deeper.
All right, let's move to section 4 and see how this builds. Finding clues in texts.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the way we actually figure out which of the big 3 an author is using. We do it by looking for breadcrumbs. authors leave these really subtle traces throughout their writing that give away their true intent. Let's look at 3 distinct examples here. First row, we have a science article on renewable energy. The purpose here is to inform. And what are our clues? Well, we see cold hard facts, we see diagrams, statistics, and absolutely zero emotional appeal. It's direct. The hidden message might simply be, renewable energy is an important tool for the future. Okay, now look at the second row, an opinion piece on community gardens. The purpose shifts to persuade. And notice how the clues change entirely. Now we're seeing health stats mixed in with emotional stories about neighbors connecting, and it all ends with a really strong call to action. The message? Community gardens benefit everyone. Finally, look at the third row, a short story about rescuing a bird. The purpose is to entertain. The clue is that it's an enjoyable narrative plot. But the deeper message woven right into that entertainment is that kindness to others brings unexpected joy. Finding clues like emotional appeals versus cold facts, that's your dead giveaway when solving these cases.
And that brings us to our final section. Section 5, Education Meets Morality. So we've talked a lot today about how to be smart, critical readers. We've talked about finding those hidden messages. But what's the point? Why does this investigation truly matter in the grand scheme of your life? Well, it connects directly to the Hero Smart Academy Godly Learners philosophy, which is all about intertwining biblical morality with education. Because frankly, education without morality is going to ultimately hurt. Think about it for a second. What is the point of being super smart and highly educated, of knowing exactly how to decipher complex texts and spot persuasive biases, if you just turn around and use that intelligence to make bad choices that harm yourself and the people around you? True education isn't just about accumulating a bunch of facts in your head. It's about building the character to actually use those facts wisely. And there is a truly profound reward for combining your intelligence with moral discernment. Just take a look at Romans 8:6-7. It literally promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. This is the ultimate promise. When you apply your new critical thinking skills to protect your mind from negative influences, and when you actively seek out messages that build people up rather than tear them down, you aren't just trying to get a good grade in English class. You are actively building a better, safer, and much more peaceful life for yourself. True discernment, for sure, brings peace. So, my fellow detectives, here is your final mission for today. I'm challenging you to apply your newly sharpened skills to these 5 homework questions. Number 1. I want you to define purpose in your own words. Number 2, give me an example of a text you've personally read that was written to inform. Number 3, crack the case on a fable and identify its core message. Number 4, explain exactly why knowing an author's purpose actually helps you as a reader. And finally, number 5, and I really want you to think about this one, what is the true purpose and the hidden message inside your absolute favorite book? Take a closer look at the media you love most. You might just be shocked by what you uncover. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep those detective hats on.